Hey everybody, this is Bradley Bennett with Semantic Mastery. This is December 2nd, 2024, just after Thanksgiving. We have Simon on from Chameleon Mode. He's going to be kind of showing us the app that he's created for. It's kind of like a multi-login app, but it does a whole bunch of other really cool things. He's been developing it for several years now. And I got to see kind of a demo of it a few weeks ago, and I'm pretty impressed with that. So Simon, first of all, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. Awesome being
Good.
here.
Good. Well, thanks for coming on, man. And I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you got a lot to get through and all of that. And so I'm going to be turning this over to you and just kind of standing back in the background. I might jump in and comment occasionally if I feel like I can contribute in any meaningful way. But otherwise, this is
Absolutely.
your show, man. So, take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everyone for being here. Let me just share my presentation
Okay.
so I can get it up on the screen. Just a moment. Okay.
It's coming up now. All right. I can see it.
All right. You can see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. All right. So today, first of all, thank you everyone for being here. We're going to talk about something I think is very important. It's how to create authentic digital footprints that sites like Google, Facebook, TikTok, and the likes of can't help by falling in love with, right? So what I hope for you to all get by the end of this call, by the end of this presentation today, is that you'll have total peace of mind with multi-account management. You'll see how to create digital footprints that rank with real human user signals, real user engagements, which will eliminate account bans and allow you to spend more time on your marketing so that you don't have to deal with any of the usual, the bans, the blocks, or any possible account verifications that might come along the way. So just to compare, I mean, Chameleon Mode, as Bradley had mentioned, is an anti-detect browser. There are others. We're not the only one. But we do happen to be the first, but we also happen to do a lot of things differently. So firstly, we are the only anti-detect browser to have real geolocation standards implemented. So if you do any kind of local SEO, this is really the only anti-detect browser for you. We are also the only anti-detect browser to save our spoofed sessions. So what that means is it's not necessarily spoofed. We have certain layers that go on top of the normal hashes that are sent out by the browsers. And every time you reload your page, the hashes change on these browsers. And for some reason, that's just the way that they work. It's not the way real browsers work. Real browsers, every time you open up your browser, you're going to have the same configuration, the same WebGL, the same, canvas fingerprint, the same browser fingerprint overall. It's not going to change. So we make it unique, and we also we also save it so that you have a real human footprint or fingerprint. Also, there's the way that we save the cookie sessions, so that you're always going to be logged in just like a normal browser. And a lot of these other browsers aren't able to do it because we know exactly how they were doing it. We used to do it that way as well. And there are issues every now and again with cookies just not being saved correctly and the encryption being broken because there's a whole lot going on between the browser web cookie and the actual cookie on your computer. Okay. And then we are also using the real system browsers. So this is what's really important is that um, anti-detect browsers have this. An anti-detect browser is really a new term, right? It's something that's not been around for that long. Um, they have this system where they use Chromium and Gecko, and it's what we used to do as well. When we built the first one, we had our own custom builds as well. But the problem with that is when Chrome builds a browser or where Firefox build a browser, they're building it to a different standard that any of us can build it to. And we've been through all of the things that you could possibly change within the browsers, and it's very hard to keep up with it. So there's this thing that's been created by the anti-detect market called browser cores. So if you do a Google search for browser cores, nothing will come up. But if you do it in parentheses, browser cores, you'll come up with all these anti-detect browsers talking about browser cores. And all that means is having an updated browser. So because it's very hard to continually build an anti-detect browser in the same way, every time Google update, every time Chrome update, every time Firefox updates or Brave updates, that means, the whole browser, the anti-detect system needs to update. And instead of updating, what they do is they spoof their browser cores so that it looks like they're updated to the latest version. And one of the things over the years that we've found very important, and we pride ourselves on this, is not just the cutting edge design, is because we're using cutting edge design, the latest tech, we're using the latest design and build implementations for Windows and also for Apple. So it also means that it's the lightest on system resources. And when you've got multiple browsers that you're managing, the last thing you're going to want, which is also quite labor heavy on the resources, the last thing you're going to want is a program or a system that's managing these browsers that's going to be sluggish. So it's extremely light on system resources. Everything is synchronized in the cloud so that nothing really happens. All the profiles, everything that's stored that would normally bog down your hard drive is all stored in the cloud. So there's no searching through the hard drive for all these thousands of profiles that you might have, and so on and so forth. So who am I? Simon Dadia, the CEO and founder of Chameleon Mode. My claim to fame was about 17 years ago when I got into um, affiliate marketing, SEO, online marketing. I ranked #1 for e-cigarette. I originally got started with pay-per-click marketing, and then they stopped their traffic very quickly after about 2 months or 3 months of getting into pay-per-click with e-cigarettes, which was very profitable at the time. It was just landing pages and just one single landing page. You didn't even have to build a website, and it was instantly profitable. But then Google and MSN turned off the pay-per-click machine, and I had to get into SEO because I realized there was all this traffic out there. So not before long, we were ranking for e-cig, electronic cigarette, and every other related e-cig term, even the term cigarette. So that was actually unbelievably fast that happened. And then because it was just so easy to do, we got into a lot of other things. I got into penny auctions, the penny auctions were big back then as well, and payday loans and online casino. So a friend of mine had an online casino site, and we got into it together, started ranking for it. We owned the term online casino, online casinos, best online casinos, and any of the related terms. We then flipped the site, which we'll get into in a second. Also an agency owner, which off of the back of the agency, which was the reason I created Browsio back in 2015, was where the anti-detect browser was born. We had issues with the agency, which we'll get into in just a second. And then in 2019, we rebranded to Chameleon Mode because there was another similar company out there called Browsio. We didn't want any kind of issues. So, we changed to Chameleon Mode, and we've been updating ever since. So ranked for a lot of terms. My favorite one, the biggest one, was cigarette. It was the one that I thought one day I was going to get a call from Marlboro. Marlboro, I was waiting for that call. We were beating Marlboro for the term cigarette, but it never happened. Panda Penguin hit. Before that happened, we were doing really well with just e-cig terms. Then the online casino we sold for about 350K. That was a great little 6 months, 7, 8 months into SEO. That was just like, opened my eyes unbelievably. And then we ran a small agency for a couple of years as well. Now, what I also did was I tanked terribly for a lot of these terms. So cigarette and all of the e-cig terms, they just, one day I woke up and I checked my stats and I thought there's something wrong. Where's that $1,500 in my sleep? That wasn't there. So I checked my stats and traffic was down. Panda Penguin, it was like a whole new reality, right? The agency at the same time, we started to fail because PBN's sites that we were managing were getting caught. And what was happening is that the reality is that we were being tracked. I remember we had outsourcers and we had in-house people managing the outsourcers that were doing all of the work in-house as well, first making sure that it was, duplicate, to be able to duplicate it and give exact processes out of out to the outsourcers. So I remember the guy said no, they can't sign up, we're getting blocked left, right, and center. And I said, do me a favor, just clear the cache and just sign up. It was Tumblr, I think, at the time. And no, every single time we signed up, it was just deleted or banned or whatever it was. Every single time. There was no way around it. No, none of the CC cleaner, flash cookies, all of that nonsense, nothing worked. So what it was is, as some of you might know, for those of you that don't, WebRTC stands for Web Real-Time Communication. It's what we're using right now to communicate via this webinar. The camera is connected into the hardware of your computer, and your computer has its own identification. It has an IP address, which is an open IP address. So, even if you're using a proxy, unless you're blocking WebRTC, you're able to see, through the actual identity of the computer. And that was the first real hit back in 2015, where Chrome enabled WebRTC by default. And up until then, even proxies, 4 or 5 accounts per proxies were fine. Didn't even need to worry so much about clearing the cookies and cache sometimes. And then canvas fingerprinting became a thing. I believe it was Add This in 2014 started to use canvas fingerprinting to identify users, but it's a very broad, impossible way to use by itself to 100% identify a user. So they started to use canvas fingerprinting together with cookies. And fast forward to today, with WebGL, media devices, audio devices, client recs, and many other things that they use to identify you, they have what's called a browser fingerprint. And together with a browser fingerprint, along with the cookies and the cache of your session, they have a very, very good idea of exactly who you are. They know exactly who this session is. And that's the sort of little history, I guess, of the privacy then where we are now. It nearly put us out of business. We had a lot of account bans. Our PBNs were getting de-indexed. All of our accounts were in the same webmaster tools. We weren't careful about things as we should have been. We didn't know that we had to be so careful. Everything was just the footprints all over the place. It was an absolute nightmare. So what it is that we were doing at the time and how we were managing things, which is how most people do things today, is browser profiles. So, dozens, or, if you've got hundreds of browser profiles, it's just, insane. But, let's say dozens of browser profiles on your computer, the main ones, the important ones, at least, that you hope that they'll be safe. VPSs, virtual private servers, just getting in there, using the VPS, but even that is not good because the VPS itself is sitting on a data center proxy. So you need to still have good residential proxies, and you have to configure even the VPS for it to, be completely anonymous and have the right kind of digital footprint for the social sites to recognize it as a real human user. And even back then we were even using VPNs, and they would work. Some people even still use them today. I know spreadsheets are still in use. I have VAs that still want to share stuff with me using Google Sheets. Absolutely not. Um, Constant logins, re-verifications. If you're you can actually, a lot of people even just use the same browser. People aren't familiar, don't even know that you can create a browser profile, which kind of works, but it's not as productive as it could possibly be. So over the years, to get to, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars so that you don't have to. Spent it on software that just didn't work. Outsourcers working for weeks and months on work that just got deleted after one Gmail account went down, weren't able to now access this WordPress, this Tumblr, this Facebook account, whatever it was. One simple email means months of work could be down the drain just because you can't access everything that's connected to that account, very simply, let alone all the other Google activity that you might have connected to that Gmail. Developers that tried valiantly to create a solution at a serious cost, but was not able to. And after all this, the truth is, I got lucky at a barbecue where my brother, who at the time was in the army, and he was a very high level programmer in the army, he was familiar with the business. He actually worked for me for a while doing SEO, link building, some all sorts of things. So he was familiar with it, but he was at the army at the time and he was familiar with the problems and the struggles that I was having at the moment, at that time, with our agency. And at this barbecue, overheard hearing another conversation with my partner, he said, "Hey, Simon, I can do this. I have an idea." And my little brother, I sort of was sure. Came back to me, month and a half or so later, the end of 2014, I think it was. So we had the first version in the end of 2014 that separated things beautifully, and that was, I guess, the beginning of it all. So that was the beginning of the easy way for us. Who else wants the easy way over here? Is there a does anyone still want the hard way? Let me get a one in the chat if you want the easy way, or if you're still happy with the old way, which works, but it's the old way, and it's a tough one. I see some yeses. Hey, Alex, awesome. Um, so the old way, again, logging in and out of the same browser, logging in and out of account. So you're in the browser, you can only access one account. You might be able to access multiple Gmail accounts in the same browser, but then that's it. What are you going to do when you want to access another Facebook or another Twitter? It's either a logistical nightmare, or eventually things are just going to start to ban. You're going to get verifications, logins. That's just the natural progression of things when you do things like that, as I'm sure many of you know. So managing multiple browser profiles, which is probably the most common and easiest way to do it, but it's still no way to manage it as a digital marketer, simply because you can't have what we were talking about today as cross pollination. You can't cross pollinate those accounts, so to speak. You can have 20, 30 main accounts, but you can't do CTR, not that any of us do. You can't do any of that kind of stuff with browser profiles that all are sitting on the exact same browser fingerprint, same IP. And if you're changing the IP on each one, then it's an absolute nightmare to change the IP. You got to manually do it. You got to go into each browser and do it. I'm not quite sure how and why you would want to do that. BPSs, spreadsheets, and again, bans. That's what leads to. So what we want to really give these sites is a digital footprint that you could be proud of. Pull out those dusty old profiles that you haven't used for a while and say, "Hey, here we are, real user, real human profile with a consistent IP, something that's stuck to that profile until you change it. It's the same." Consistent sessions, right? So you're always going to be logged into those social profiles. Remember, we were talking about the canvas fingerprint, the browser fingerprint, how it's connected to the cache. It's not just the canvas fingerprint and the browser fingerprint and the cache. They're not two separate things. They're all connected. So if you have a consistent browser fingerprint, meaning, WebGL, Canvas, client rect, audio, the hashes are always going to be the same each time, unique between each instance, but every time you open up this one, it's always going to be the same. And you've got the cookies and you're saving, and you've got the cache and you've got the same IP or an IP in the same area. That's a real digital footprint, a footprint that you try and get that banned. In fact, I tried doing a demo there's this way that I wanted to show how to log in using a verification code without having to use an SMS code. And I just couldn't get the verification code to pop up each time. It just let me. I had an 18-minute video of me just logging in to accounts, Gmail, one after another for 18 minutes. And I said, so I'm just going to turn this into I can't get a ban video. So it was literally 18 minutes. So consistent browser fingerprint will give you that ability to just, okay, so it's the same guy. Even if you get logged out after 6 months, you come back, you click on it because you have your picture there and you're in the same profile, same cookie, same cache. You just log straight back in. That's how it goes. Just like a real browser. Real geolocation using the latest UULE3 standards. I'm not sure if anyone knows what that is. I'm sure some of the more technical ones know what it is, but we'll get into that maybe a little in a bit of Q&A if someone has some questions. But in short, it means that you could pinpoint your location into literally within 10 meters of any location that you want, and you can adjust that as you like very, very easily. So if you're a local marketer, right, and you want to be in an exact location, or you want to have 10, 15, 20, 30 minions in a specific location, you can do that very, very easily using the UL3 standards, and it puts you in that exact location. So if you're not a local marketer, that's fine, because what it does anyway is it's going to it's going to take your IP and it's going to automatically synchronize your time zone with your IP, and the latitude and longitude of the IP, synchronize it all together so that you've got a completely human-like, well, human browser profile. So, you can fine tune your fingerprint as well. You can set each element of it if need be. So we've left it for that as well. I mean, it comes perfect out of the box. You don't need to know anything. You don't need to be technical. You don't need to. But if you understand and and you want to tweak the WebGL, you want to tweak the fingerprint of the client recs or so, you can do that as well. Or just leave it as is and you'll be good. Okay, so we've been through a lot. It's a quick recap. So privacy concerns led to nearly the collapse of everything. WebRTC was the first one. It stopped allowing us to just use proxies and realize that there's a lot more going on other than just proxies and cookies and cache. There's all these things that they're using to see who and where you are, so they can identify you, not just for SEO and to ban you reasons, but also for advertising reasons. So they really are using these across the board to be able to, paint an exact picture of who you are, right? And, all of that leading to the account bans, browser profiles that are very, very hard to manage, and all of the admin that comes along with it. So I know that it's hard to change. Old habits die hard. But let me ask you right now a question. How many profiles do you have? Right. When was the last time you accessed them? Let me get if you've got more than 10 profiles or 25 profiles, let me get a 1 in the chat. 1. Okay. 1. Yes. Now another thing. When was the last time you were able to access them? Like, when did you access them and utilize them, right? Probably scared that, if you do log into them or access them, they might get banned, which very likely could, because there is something going on. You're not quite sure what it is, but this is what it is that's going on. They are using browser fingerprints, cookies, cache, proxies in order to paint a perfect picture of who you are. So, I hate to say it, but a lot of those Gmails might be dead by now because they went through a huge culling over the last few years. And if you didn't log into your Gmail account within 2 years, for 2 years, they disabled it. But I have to say, I had a lot of accounts like that, and I logged right back into them, and it says inactivity. You were inactive for 2 years, but don't worry, here's your account back. It's yours. Okay. So, the browser profiles are an effective way to just quickly do things. But if you want to get productive, if you're worried about them, if you don't want them to get banned, if you want to use them, if you want to utilize them, if you want to use them amongst each other, so if you've got 10 browser profiles and they're all got the same exact footprint, you can't use them to interact with each other safely on social media, or you want them to be able to be friends on social media, meaning you can connect them and they can do stuff, but you don't want them to be like connected on the back end, because that's where all the the footprints and fingerprints happen and accounts get banned. It's a real thing. If you're accessing certain accounts, more than 3 or 4 Facebook accounts on the same IP address, it's a problem. They know that people have houses and people access multiple, up to 5 is okay, but anything more than that, it's going to start to it starts to be an issue, right? So for those of you that have got all those accounts that were saying yes, me, you're going to love Chameleon. I don't even know if it's 1,000% productivity increase. It's probably more. It just means you don't have to deal with any of the admin. You don't have to deal with anything. Literally add the accounts. Once they're in, they're in. You click on the browser that you want to use, you're in, and you're able to access them and automate and do whatever it is that you need to do. So as I said, you have a real safe 100% organic digital footprint. We're using real system browsers. We're adding a layer of our security on top of that. So the thing is, Firefox and Brave, they do a really good job. Yeah, and they do a really good job of you know, covering up your fingerprints to a certain extent, but they don't do a lot of the things like the client recs and the audio and well, the time zone and the geolocation and all that other kind of stuff, right? So they don't do that. And because of that, you don't have that real organic footprint that could be 100% unique between each one, right? So it'll allow you to just get on with stuff so that you don't have to deal with all this technical stuff in the background. If you're used to using browsers, you're going to be able to use Chameleon, no problem. It's all, Brave, Firefox, and Chrome in there with Edge coming soon. No more admin, no downtime, no more blocks. Okay, I see a couple of questions coming in over there. Um, was do you does let me get a one if you I see someone ask for a demo. Let me get a one in there if you want to see a demo. Normally I wasn't going to do a demo, but if you want to see a demo, we can quickly do that. Just a very quick one.
Yeah, I think a demo would be good.
All
Simon.
right, let's do a demo. Okay, let's open it up. All right. Oh wait, hang on a second. I'm gonna have to turn off this slideshow for a second and share my screen. Hang on. Entire screen. All right. Do you see Chameleon? You guys see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So this is the dashboard, meaning you add your profiles that you are regularly you're interacting with over here. Before we get into that, let me just go to the profile section. This is where everything lives. And I'm just trying to move my face around so I could see. Okay. So all you need to do to create a secure environment so that everything is disconnected from absolutely everything is click new profile up here, and that's it. Once you've done that, this has now created a unique, completely 100% unique browser hash for Chrome, Firefox, and Brave. The only thing you need to do is add your proxies, right? So if you're doing local marketing, local SEO, and you have local proxies specific to a region, you're just straight in there into that region. So let me just open up a profile that has got something. We go to the dashboard. Let's go to, let's see if this guy here. Okay, so what I do, I just opened up Brave. Was that Brave? Yeah, I opened up Brave. And as you can see, straight logged in. Some notifications from Facebook. Nice, okay. But what I wanted to show you here is right there. Where am I? Let's just see what this proxy is. It's probably, yeah, so, okay. So I'm in Fresno, California. Okay, so that is what we're talking about with ULE3 and having real geolocation and what other anti-detect browsers are scared from doing. This is what everyone is scared of doing in the anti-detect world is going here and clicking use precise location and then getting that one come out and say, no, no, don't do that because they're going to know where I am. But yeah, you want to do that because we want you to see that we're in Fresno, California. We want you to know that we're on 4424 N Millbrook Avenue. And obviously, I'm not anywhere near there. I'm probably about 6,000 miles away. But if I want to go and be even more cheeky, I guess you can say, and you know, go somewhere else, you can go, let's say, I'm over here. So you know that blue dot? That's that Google verified blue dot that says you are there, right? You know that blue dot. That's how that one works there. And then so let's say we want to go to College Square Shopping Mall. Okay. So we want to go there. So normally if you want to use UL 3 to implement the standards and show how to do that, you'd have to grab these coordinates and reverse engineer that so that you'll have some UL3 string that will allow you to then implement that UL3 code into something. But instead, what we do here is we just have this plugin here, and you just take those coordinates. Ah, I had geolocation turned off in my main thing. Right, okay. So this is going to change altogether. We're in a completely different location. This was just the default coordinate that was in there. So this is now, so all you need to do is to change this location is click out. And now, here, now we're going to come. And as you can see, the blue dot has changed. And we're in now College Square Shopping Mall, right? So we went from that place in Fresno, wherever we were a second ago, to College Square Shopping Mall. And it could be that if you go to Google and say, where am I? It will show you that, yeah, College Square Shopping Mall Center, North Cedar Avenue, Fresno, California, right? Okay, so that's basically, you know, how you can use like how it works, how how this is a real instance, a real browser instance where with layers of security and geolocation automation happening in the back end, allowing you to pinpoint your location. And if you're not, again, doing local marketing and you don't need to pinpoint your location and you just want to have a consistent browser profile that is that is connected to that is connected to that's connected to a real profile, that's connected to the right proxy and what have you, that's how this will work as well. So whether you're doing local or not, it's still going to take the proxy and synchronize everything and give you that real digital footprint, right? And it's the same thing with Chrome and Firefox and Brave. I just want to show another quick feature, right? Don't want to go through everything. There's too many things here to go through. But, you know, so let's say you're in a profile here and you want to access, you want to integrate, you want to interact with, let's say, 2 or 3 profiles. So you can open up either one by one. You can click, if you click Firefox, if you click Chrome, it will open up all of these browsers at once, like one at a time, one after another. Same thing, Firefox, same thing with Brave. But if you want to get it in there a little bit more and have a little bit more control over your session, we use this little Chameleon button over there. And that gives you this little pop-up. And that pop-up allows you then to launch your browsers from here, right? So that you are always on top of your browser instances. You know, it highlights where you are, you know, which ones are open, which ones are not. If you want to get back to that browser, you just need to click on it. Notice if I want to just get back to this one here, just click on it, comes to the front, and you know exactly where you are the whole time. You can have 10, 20 open, however much your system can handle, and you'll have these little highlights showing you where you are, and then you've got your quick profile information ready for you in case you need to, you know, log in or sign up to something or whatever it is that you have there. So it gives you the ability to really manage those browsers and manage your instances and be in control the whole time so that you know where everything is. Now, this is the automation section, which is which is in beta right now. It works, but it's in beta because we don't have the nice interface that makes it really nice to fill in. So we've got a whole bunch of automations in there. Keep Gmail alive, just goes to Gmail, opens up a link. URL Explorer is great for when you're opening up a social site or Facebook or Gmail or whatever it is, and you want to go and drop some cookies. So you can put a list of URLs in there and it'll go to each site, drop a cookie. Google Site Creator, which is in beta, it does work, but it's in beta. It's really not the easiest to use right now. We're still working on all sorts of security tweaks and back-end tweaks, and we're also working on a new type of automation that we're going to be releasing very soon. This automation uses Playwright, which is the most robust automation platform out there for this kind of stuff. So this is the best automation that is available currently, but we have a new type of automation that we're working on, which is AI based, which I don't want to talk too much about, but it's going to be coming very soon, and it's going to make a lot of this type of automation obsolete. That will only be available on the higher tier. But yes, that is something that's coming soon. We're very excited about that. These are the profiles. So you create a folder and you name it the project that you're working on. It could be a local client, it could be, a niche that you're in, a market, and whatever else it would be, whatever else you'd like it to, you know, however else you'd like to name it. And then we have just straightforward settings here. This is the right. I had unset that before for reasons I was testing. Let me just save that again. So you have overall, and I'm going to go back into the browser again in just a second. So you have all these default anonymity settings that will apply across all of your browsers. And then you can come back in to your browsers and have all of these anonymity settings and make each browser even more customizable. So there's global settings here. So if you want to change stuff globally, if you don't want auto geo for some reason or for whatever it is, you can come in here and just quickly edit that. Phone verification, API, I've got some APIs in there, so I'm not going to go in there, but it's straightforward stuff. It's just, this is where you change your proxies, proxy credit, and and this is sharing with your VAs, right? So if you want to share with your VAs profiles, you can come in here and do that very easily. And we have a cookie sync feature that's going to be re-implemented in the next week or so, which we used to have. We had it 10 years ago. We had it in the last Chameleon, and we've refactored the entire app, and we've moved from one back-end platform to another back-end platform, which is much better. And so we're just refining it, and it's going to be a lot faster to do the cookie sync than it was in the past. So that will allow you to also synchronize cookies so that you're all going to be on the same session wherever you are in the world. Okay. And that's it. Just these are the last sort of the themes. You can colorize it if you want. You can have a dark theme. These are I have to say some of my favorite features. And then the ability to go in and change the colors as well. You can use custom colors. It's entirely up to you. As you can see, I'm in purple, which is my system color right now. So it's automatic to the system. As long as you click system right there, it will then just go with your system colors. Okay, and then this is just support information and what have you. Okay, so that's it. I think there's I think that's it pretty much without going into exact details. There's full training in school, and also we have help.chameleonmode.com. All the documentation is there for you to go through as well. Okay, were there any questions about this? I see some things in the chat.
Yeah, I don't see any. It just somebody had asked
No.
about automations, but I think you already covered that. So
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So let me just go back to the presentation here. Okay, back on the presentation. Wonder why my head is down here. I've never seen it down there before. Okay, so where was I in the presentation? Someone's asking where do we get proxies from? There's lots of recommendations that we provide in the app. Smart Proxy is a great one. And if you buy today, we'll give you access to 5 gigabytes a month for the next 3 months. They are not local proxies. So if you want to use them for local, they're no good for that. They're just general proxies, international proxies for just general use. But if they're for local, you can't really hone in on that. So what it is that you'll get is 50 secure browser profiles is in the basic. They all have full control of system tracking. So Firefox, Chrome, Brave Manager, all of them have that. All of the anti-detection control, auto time zone sync, as well as the playwright automation. The difference is the basic has 50 profiles and no access to the VA module, which allows you to share profiles with your VAs. The Plus has 300 profiles and 3 VAs, and custom automation, which is the automation that we were talking about before, which is AI automation that's coming soon, as well as the ability to have, sorry, I see these messages coming through. And then the Pro is 2997, 1500 profiles, 15 VAs, and that gives you access to the advanced automations, which is the automation club, which means that we have these automations that are in right now are beta. We're working on a whole automation club, which is going to have a lot of social media automations, stacking automations, a lot of different options, and we're also interested in hearing feedback from what people want to see as well. That's going to go into that automation club, and that comes in the Pro, so you get access to that if you get the Pro. So who's this for? Digital marketers. If you're doing local SEO, affiliate marketers, faceless channels. It's pretty much anyone who's managing multiple accounts, right? If you're a digital marketer or if you're doing local SEO, this is the only anti-detect browser that you could and should really be using because of all of the geolocation implementation that we've added and the different layers and ability to change and to keep your browser fingerprint the same without constantly changing and spoofing and what have you. So I had two choices. And one was to go cheap, hope for the best, right? Messy browser profiles, they leave a huge footprint. They're definitely hard to manage and impossible to multi-account with, or get any of those added benefits of using them for CTR and things like that. And the option number two, which requires a small investment, that would build a solution that takes care of the entire headache, which in exchange gives me the time that I need to spend money and to spend on money-making activities, not admin or chores. So clearly was the choice for me. Now let's see what Carl has to say. He's been with us for many years from the beginning, and he's an SEO consultant, technical marketing, and he says that he's consistently impressed over the last 9 years with the development and the continual product development and community engagement and support. If you want to manage your multiple profiles confidently and keep your clients' profiles secure, no other piece of software I've used comes close. Thank you, Carl. So again, what you'll get, 50 secure profiles, 300 profiles in Plus, and 1,500 in the Pro. Everyone that signs up today, you get access to the Automation Club that will be released shortly. Again, we have beta automations in there right now, but that will be expanded upon and released over the coming, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks. So 497, 997, 300 profiles. The Plus is the one where everyone sort of sits within. It's the most popular one is the Plus, but if you're just getting started, the basic 50 secure profiles, that's more than enough to give you access to enough profiles to make a difference, right? So you'll also get 3 months of 5 gigabytes a month bandwidth. That'll get you started so that you can hit the ground running. If you don't have any kind of proxies right now, this will get you started. If you're doing local again, you're going to need some other proxy provider. If you have, that's fine. If not, we can recommend. Right. So we also have a weekly Q&R training where we cover everything from setting up the local personas to different CTR strategies and some simple, easy strategies to get your channel started really easy. Just simple couple of profiles, some really basic CTR, and you're good to go. Works really good with shorts, gets traction very, 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 very easily. So if all this did was just keep your social network safe, it would be worth it. You know, if you just were able to focus on your marketing activities instead of admin, right? Or just give you the peace of mind that your campaigns are always active, it would be worth it, right? If it would just help you scale your campaigns or manage unlimited Facebook and TikTok accounts, scale unlimited faceless channels, it would be worth it, right? We're talking about 1,000 times, even 1,000x productivity. What is it worth to you? Is it worth $1,000? I mean, I know how much it's worth to me. Can I get a one in the chat if anyone thinks it's worth less than $25,000 to them? Just 100xing your productivity. So how much would you pay for an army of social media influencers working for you? Now, we've had customers for over 10 years paying us for the peace of mind that the accounts are always safe, secure, and easily accessible, keeping you profitable. I mean, I have accounts that are 10 years old. I've been showcasing them on webinars. And if I have these accounts and I've been showcasing them on webinars, they've got hundreds of followers still. Imagine the power of this. So at this price, which is the general public, when it's available at a lifetime, it's a steal. But obviously today you're not going to play that. Today, the price for you, if you pick up the basic, is $323. That's 35% off. The plus is 648, 35% off. And if you want the pro, that's 50% off. That brings it down to $1,498. Now, if you had two choices, option one, do nothing, don't take this leap of faith, which is 100% risk-free. Or the second option, which is pony up this small investment today compared to the value you'll get in return. Just give it a shot. If it works, great. If not, just ask for your money back and you'll get it right back. No questions asked. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. Sign up today. If you don't like it for any reason, I don't care if it's just under 29 days, 31 days even, let me know. We'll give you your money right back. No problem whatsoever. The real question is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Which, if it does even half of what I've claimed today on this webinar, will pay for itself and have you scaling campaigns faster and more effortlessly than ever. Now, other systems, they can leave you exposed. With this, you get complete control and peace of mind. There's two types of people. There are always two types of people. There's the one who is just going to go down this route, stuck in their ways, not thinking that there is maybe a possibility that there is an easier way to do this. And then there's the other one who's going to take a little bit of a risk, a little bit of a chance and say, you know what, I'm going to actually go for it. And that is that is the chameleon face right here on the right, the person who's got the freedom to just literally do what they want. They don't have to worry about the stupid admin, the nonsense, the clicking on all these things just to get access to a profile. It shouldn't be that way. It should be very easy. It's just a profile. It's just an email. It's just a social media account. You shouldn't have to go through hoops and deal with nonsense, especially as a digital marketer. So that's what you do. This is the link. I see a couple of people ask for it, or I see there some comments if you shared it, and the link is below. Pick it up today. If you didn't sign up immediately, I mean, there's probably a couple of reasons, but I believe either you don't believe that this will work for you, or you don't know how the system works. I mean, it is very, very technical on the back end, where you don't think you have what it takes, but it really is not. You don't need to be technical at all. I am nothing special. Trust me, I'm not a technical guy. I'm not super technical. I'm not a programmer, and I'm not particularly productive, but I can still easily beat those algorithms with Chameleon mode. So if you have, if you want, we have this offer. It's the basic, the plus, and the pro. We have the monthly offer as well. So you can, what we'll do is if you not ready, you haven't picked up the lifetime yet, that's fine. I see a couple people have, but if you're not ready yet to jump in, you can pick up the basic, the plus, the pro, whatever it is on the monthly. We'll hold this open for you for a week. And if you want to upgrade to the lifetime, that's great. That's perfectly fine. You can upgrade to the lifetime and we'll go ahead and give you a code and you can deduct what you've paid and it will be prorated in that way. So if you want to jump in, you're not ready for the lifetime, you're not quite sure how it's going to work, if it's going to work, pick up the basic, the plus, the pro on the monthly. And again, we'll go ahead and upgrade you once you want to upgrade to the lifetime within the next 7 days or so. So go ahead, get started now. From just $12 a month, you get access to the entire system, the whole app, 50 profiles, and then again, the access to the lifetime deal if you wanted to upgrade after that.
Well, that's awesome, man. This app is very powerful. I've seen all the changes that you made because I remember when you first switched from Browsio to Chameleon a long time ago, many years
Oh
ago,
dear.
and I stopped using it for quite some time. And then when you approached me a couple of months ago about it, it's just amazing how much kind of redevelopment you put back into it, and it does seem a hell of a lot easier now, and all of that. So it's definitely a good app, guys. It will, I've been using Chrome profiles, but I don't do a lot of spammy stuff. But I've got dozens of Chrome profiles, and it's a pain in the ass all the time switching between those profiles. And so
Yeah.
having something like Chameleon mode is going to make everything a lot easier to manage and a lot faster. Plus all the benefits that you mentioned, which is like, you know, connecting accounts and share liking and kind of social like and vote upvoting and all those kind of things that you
Mhm.
can't do from the same IP address and the same type of browser fingerprint as you mentioned before. So I
Yeah.
think it's a great service. I think you've done a lot of significant updates that have made everything a lot easier to use, and I think
Yeah.
it's definitely a good app.
I have to say that you were a bit of the you were the inspiration. Was looking around and I found this video and I thought, oh no. It's right. It's true. When we changed from Browsio to that first iteration of Chameleon, I just wasn't happy with it either. And I said, no, that's it. This became a labor of love, you know. I said, I'm going to come back to Bradley and I'm going to say, look, look, we fixed all of those things. We've done all of these things. Yeah, that was, back in 2019, I think.
Yeah, that was many years ago for sure.
Mhm.
So, well, I don't see any other questions coming in, guys. Do you
Okay.
does anybody have any additional questions? If not, we can wrap it up.
Okay. Everyone, welcome aboard. There, I don't know if you got the emails, if you're coming through. Let me just quickly remind you, because those are the JVZoo links. So you'll get, I'm going to have to manually add you or have them manually added after the webinar because for some reason there's something not talking from JVZoo to Pay Kickstart and the licensing system is on Pay Kickstart. So everyone that signed up, welcome aboard. I'm going to manually get you added and then you'll receive 3 emails, one from me with all of the download links if you're using a Mac, and then if you're using Windows, you'll just have, 2 from Pay Kickstart with the Windows download and the license information in there. Okay. Thanks for thanks guys.
Perfect. Yeah, and Simon, thanks for your time today as well. We'll get this replay out. I believe sometime tomorrow it'll go out, and we'll follow up with you afterwards. And I appreciate you coming on today, man.
Awesome. All right. Take care,
One
guys.
one more real quick, because I did see a question pop in from Ryan. Ryan
Hmm.
says, "Can this emulate mobile browsers?"
Not at the moment. Not at the moment, but we can and we do have plans to have that in. Playwright in itself does that, and we have Playwright implemented, and it's something that can that it's in the right now no, but it's in the roadmap. Yes.
Gotcha. Right on. Well, thanks again, Simon. Appreciate it, guys. Go check it out. Simon gave you an awesome like trial offer as well. So go check it out while you can. Upgrade if you want, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Simon.
All right, take care. Have a good
All
one.
right, bye, guys.